Dotun has not only been one of the best we've ever witnessed, he has also hedged his name into the monumental masterpieces for the 1% of the 1%. Your sculpture are known for intricate details and emotional depth, because I still remember the time we deliver this Elegushi work. I was around on that day. I was lucky to be around on that day, and I can see even people who don't really understand what art is. You know, most people don't have any other knowledge of art, especially sculpture, than roundabout there is one statue at around. People don't. I remember before I get close to artists, the understanding that I have of art, and now that I'm very, very close to a lot of artists, and not just ordinary artists, world-class artists, my knowledge about art changed. Can you walk us through your creative process of creating your masterpiece of an artwork?
My creative process entails critical study, critical thinking, and reading histories, reading materials on the subject matter. Now, whenever I'm creating any piece of art, I always want to create a narrative around it. I always want to tell a story with it. I don't just want to create a lion and just dump it on the ground for you to appreciate it as a lion. No. Because I always believe that each piece that I make have a soul, have a spirit. And I want that soul and that spirit to really be felt by whoever owns the piece. I always want to hide a long history in any piece of art.
How long of history can you embed into your work?
I mean, as long as the history that exists. For instance, if I create a work that dates back to 2000 BC, before Christ, then I should be able to tell that story in details. So every piece of art has a story, and every artist should be able to, visually tell that story without even using your words. When you see the work should be able to tell you a lot of story. I mean, some scholars will prove that wrong by saying there are some works that doesn't want, they don't care whether you understand the story or not. But for me, I think every piece of work that I create, I always want it to engage your mind. I always want to engage my viewers, my collectors, my clients, the museums, whoever, based on the fact that the materials that I use have their own stories. They have their own struggles. They have their own history. So, and I want to create an hybrid piece that will tell two things together. When you say a piece is an hybrid, and an hybridity of materials, hybridity of concept, hybridity of culture in one piece. So I want to merge everything together so that when you see it, you don't just look at it as a decorative piece. No, it is a piece of art that is an encyclopedia. Just one piece should tell you a lot. And that is what most of my works are all about.
When you do your work, how do you know which particular metal? Because I've seen your work multiple times, and I will see motorcycle, bike, I will see chain, I will see a lot of things. Practically any kind of metal that can be welded, you have them in your junkyard, practically any metal that can be welded. So choosing all this material, how do you know what? Because each time I see your work, I always see, looking from distance, you can clearly tell that, this is what this particular artwork is depicting when it comes to animal, because you work on a lot of animal. Right. I remember Metala 2020, I interviewed Sheyilo that day, and Sheyilo said,
from afar, I thought it was a bull that was hung for some barbecue or something, for some roasting, and then I got close and I saw the beautiful things that have been put together.
He thought it was a big barbecue until he gets closer and was like, what is this? That kind of, I don't know what to call it, but it's very, very powerful when people see something like that, Despite the fact that I was in your studio multiple days before that exhibition, when you put all those work in their places at the exhibition, I was like, Oh my goodness, like, oh. So how do you choose what parts, what materials to use?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I do a lot of studies, anatomy study basically. So in the process of studying, I always want to know which material gives me the forms that I want to achieve.
Easy.
So when I'm putting that forms there, I pay attention to the basic shapes. I pay attention to the anatomy excellence, and I pay attention to the intricate forms, so that when I'm making a goat, it doesn't look like a chimpanzee.
That's funny.
So because every animal has their shape,
Yes, sir.
every one of them has their different forms. So when I'm going to the junkyard, I can easily identify the forms that would respond to whatever project I'm working on, based on the fact that I've studied the anatomy. That's the simple answer.
Wow.
Yeah.